For today's discussion, we're going to discuss foreign aid and grants. We have, of course, mentioned last time that when taxes collected by the government won't be enough for the projects that they have, then this will now push the government to borrow. That would be one. Another would now be to depend on foreign aid and grants. So foreign aid and grants play a significant role in supporting the Philippines' economic development, also that of its infrastructure growth, and of course, disaster recovery efforts. So if you remember, there was a time when we discussed this wherein we mentioned that when it comes now to disaster recovery efforts, foreign aid and grants play a very important role because we don't plan for disasters. Therefore, sometimes the budget allocated for such may not really be enough. So when disaster happens and there's a need for more money to help us for the recovery activities or recovery efforts, then that is where foreign aid and grants would matter much. So as a developing country, the Philippines relies on external assistance to complement domestic resources, especially in times of disaster, in times of crisis, and of course for long-term development programs. Foreign aid comes in many different forms. Generally, it comes in the form of financial assistance. It may also come in the form of technical expertise, goods or services provided by foreign governments as well as international organizations. So what are the sources of foreign aid and grants? I will describe them, then I will also give some examples. Make sure that you take down notes. So for the sources of foreign aid and grants, we have what we call, number one, bilateral sources. So when we talk about bilateral sources, this refers now to country-to-country aid. Country-to-country aid. So these are funds or assistance given directly by one country to the Philippines. That's why it's called country-to-country aid. So major donors in the Philippines, or major donors to the Philippines rather, include the following countries. So we have Japan, United States, we have China, South Korea, and Australia. Again, we have Japan, United States, China, South Korea, and Australia. So one major activity, for example, funded by Japan would now be on major infrastructure projects like railways, flood control systems. Those are usually the major infrastructure projects in the Philippines funded by Japan. So Japan is actually considered as the largest bilateral donor to the Philippines. So one example, an actual example of a project funded by Japan through JICA is the new Bohol Airport. Hanapin niyo na lang what JICA stands for. Okay, so one of the major projects of Japan through JICA is the new Bohol Airport. So that's one of their largest projects and the most latest. And then we have United States. So one of the major projects of the United States is the Beacon Project. So this is funded by the USA through USAID. Again, just check what this acronym stands for the so-called Beacon Project. Beacon stands for Better Access and Connectivity. Better Access and Connectivity Project. So they call it Beacon. The intention here is to improve transportation systems in the Philippines as well as logistics systems. Another major contributor or another major foreign partner here would be China. So one of the projects of China, okay, is the Chico River Pump Irrigation Project. Chico River Pump Irrigation Project. So if you're from the Cordillera, you're familiar with Chico River. So that's the Chico River Pump Irrigation Project, which supports agriculture through irrigation. Okay, and many other examples. It's up to you to look for these examples. At least I have given 3: Japan, US, and China. And then another source of foreign aid and grant are what we call multilateral organizations. Multilateral organizations. So when we say multilateral organizations, these are international institutions composed of multiple countries. International institutions composed of multiple countries. In short, agreements are not only between two countries, okay, but the approval of a foreign aid or grant coming from multilateral organizations are expected to be approved by member countries. So for example, of a key organization would be World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. So in FinManagement 1, you have come across international financial institutions. And these two are examples of those institutions. So usually we get also foreign aid and grants coming from these institutions, World Bank and International Monetary Fund. And when you look at their membership, okay, it's most likely that the members of World Bank are the same countries that make up the International Monetary Fund. You also have other organizations like United Nations and its agencies. United Nations and its agencies. For example, UNICEF and World Health Organization. So this is another acronym. Find out what that is. But UNICEF is under the United Nations. So an example of another key organization, by the way, is Asian Development Bank. So World Bank, IMF, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, IMF, Asian Development Bank, and then United Nations. So an example of a project of the Asian Development Bank would be the Metro Manila Subway. So Asian Development Bank is one of those institutions funding the Metro Manila Subway project. So that's an example of a project with these multilateral organizations. Another source would be what we call your non-governmental organizations and foundations. Non-governmental organizations and foundations. So we are familiar, of course, with activities of NGOs, for instance, providing relief goods and rehabilitation assistance after disasters like typhoons and earthquakes. So we are familiar with stories about non-governmental organizations or NGOs that help in providing relief goods and rehabilitation assistance after disasters like typhoons and earthquakes. So an example of this would be Red Cross. Okay. We also have Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So I'm sure you're familiar with Bill Gates. So he, together with his wife, established the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So what are the different types of foreign aid received by the country? What are the different types of foreign aid received by the Philippines? Number one, grants. These are financial aid that do not need to be repaid. These are financial aid that do not need to be repaid. Sometimes these are used for social services as well as disaster relief. Sometimes these are used for social services and disaster relief. So if you remember when Yolanda happened, it destroyed a lot, no, of places in the Philippines. It caused destruction in many places in the Philippines. And we were able to get emergency aid. Well, of course, even other countries that were affected by the same typhoon. Of course, it was internationally known as Typhoon Haiyan. In the Philippines, we called it then Typhoon Yolanda. Another type of foreign aid are loans. Loans, specifically concessional loans. Concessional loans or loans. So these loans are of course to be repaid. But of course, we expect concessional loans to be provided at low interest rates and also long repayment periods. Again, this type of loans are provided at low interest rates and long repayment periods. And they are usually used for large infrastructure projects. So just like what I have said, when the money collected through taxes are not enough for big projects, we borrow. So this is an example. So for example, loans from Japan, particularly or intended specifically for our railway systems. So when we need extra money, when we need extra funds to finance our infrastructure projects like railway system. So an example would be loans that we got from Japan, specifically for railway system projects. Another type of foreign aid we get from other countries would be technical assistance. Technical assistance. So when we say technical assistance, this refers to transfer of knowledge. Transfer of knowledge, expertise, and training. Transfer of knowledge, expertise, and training. So for example, foreign experts come to the Philippines. Foreign experts come to the Philippines to support agricultural modernization programs. Foreign experts come to the Philippines to support agricultural modernization programs. So there are new technologies used for our agricultural activities. To modernize agricultural activities in the Philippines, we need advanced technology. And so this is where foreign experts come in. They come and train farmers to use the latest technology. Another type of foreign aid that we get is what we call humanitarian aid. This is what we get, okay? This kind of immediate support, we get during disasters. So sometimes they are in the form of food, medical aid, shelter. So international assistance that we receive during earthquakes, typhoons, volcanic eruptions, because our government cannot provide all this. Okay? Plus, of course, we expect this already from other countries because we also do the same when they are also the ones who need assistance from us. And then another type of foreign aid, the last one on our list, military and security assistance. Military and security assistance. An example of this would now be on the support that we get for defense, anti-terrorism, and maritime security. I'm sure you are familiar with all this. No? Like for example, we get assistance from the United States for our counterterrorism efforts in Mindanao. Those are examples also of military and security assistance. We also get assistance for maritime security. You know our problem when it comes now to maritime security. Now we move on to another list. We have here the impact of foreign aid. Impact of foreign aid. Number one, infrastructure development. There are many projects that the government cannot really fully support with the amount of resources that we have. And so foreign aid has helped build infrastructure projects such as roads, airports, railways, irrigation systems, flood control projects, and many others. And with this, okay, we expect that there will now be an improvement when it comes to connectivity, trade, and tourism. The next impact would be on poverty reduction and social services. Poverty reduction and social services. Example, for education, we get a lot of support from institutions like Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation and also USAID. In fact, USAID provides a lot of scholarship programs or sometimes through the help of USAID, meaning the scholarship support does not necessarily come from USAID, but through USAID, they get to find donors for scholarship. Okay, so education programs are benefited. And then, of course, through World Health Organization, for instance, we also get support for healthcare services. So you can check how much World Health Organization has helped us, especially during the pandemic. Another, number 3, disaster response and resilience. Disaster response and resilience. I'm sure everyone here know that the Philippines is highly vulnerable to natural disasters. We are very much exposed to different types of natural disasters. Of course, in these situations, we need faster recovery, especially after major calamities. And that can be provided by this foreign aid that we get from other countries. Plus, it also helps us improve our disaster preparedness programs or systems. So that's on disaster response and resilience. If we are to depend solely on what we have, it would take a while before we can recover from this disaster. So it's we're really grateful, no, that we get support or aid coming from other countries. Next on our list, economic growth and investment climate. When we have foreign funded programs, this can help attract investors. Also, this can help improve infrastructure, and government systems, which of course we expect to lead now to economic growth and better investment environment. The last on our list, technology and knowledge transfer. Again, there is a need to adopt modern practices, advanced technology in many different areas. For example, agriculture, governance, and industry. So we need expertise of other countries or people from other countries. We need their expertise. We need them to guide us. We need them to train us. And we get that through foreign aid given now by these governments and institutions. And no matter how good foreign aid may sound, because for us, malaking tulong ang foreign aid, there are challenges and criticisms. There are challenges and criticisms. Like number one, dependency on foreign aid. Meaning, we might end up being what? Over-reliant. Okay, we become over-reliant on foreign aid. What happens when we become over-reliant? This may now weaken local initiative. Instead of looking for solutions to problems, we would always say, hindi bale, there will always be foreign aid. There will always be grants coming from other countries. So instead of solving problems on the lack of, let's say, tax collection, hindi na lang kasi isipin natin, okay lang kahit kulang, anyway, it will be funded by this institution, it will be funded by this organization. So that is now a problem. Another, we mentioned about loans. And even if these are given at low interest rates and also long repayment periods, there is a problem now on what? Debt burden. That's number two, debt burden. So while it is true that the interest rates charged to us are lower than usual and that we are given ample time to repay our loans, still this becomes now a burden. Meaning, this can possibly strain future budgets. Remember that that part of the budget goes to the repayment of obligations. So this means that if we keep borrowing, because our idea is anyway the interest rates are low, anyway we have enough time to repay, the problem is that this will now lead to a strain on future budgets. So imagine the stress also that this could bring to future generations. Another challenge or criticism is conditionality. Conditionality. This is actually one of the biggest problems we have because people believe that sometimes institutions or governments that give foreign aid or those that give grants can possibly impose conditions. And you can read articles related to this one. There are many stories about institutions that impose conditions. I'm referring to the Philippines. There are things we cannot do because, for example, an institution gave us foreign aid and together with that foreign aid is a condition. I'm not going into specifics. I want you to look for examples of this one. Okay? But there are specific policy changes, for example, that are needed in exchange for financial assistance. find out stories about conditions made by organizations such as the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, and the IMF. Okay, so it's up to you to find out what are examples, no, of these conditions required by these institutions before they give any financial assistance. Next, corruption and mismanagement. Corruption and mismanagement. So the main problem here is on the misuse of funds. For example, what if the grant is for research, but it might be used for something else? Or the foreign aid or financial assistance is supposed to be for flood control projects, but they are if inefficiently allocated. So those are problems. Those are actually challenges. Unequal distribution. Some experts point out that sometimes when it comes to foreign aid and grants, sometimes this does not reach the most vulnerable communities. Sometimes the help we get do not really reach the most vulnerable communities. Again, if you remember stories about foreign aid and grants sent to us during Typhoon Yolanda, the intention was to rebuild the houses destroyed by the typhoon. I think this was during the time of the former President Pinoy, that there were issues about where did the money go? How come the construction of these houses were not really completed? Or even those that were completed were not of good quality. You can read stories about these ones, and this would prove, okay, that there is really problem when it comes now to the distribution and also the use of this foreign aid and grants. And the last one is geopolitical influence. Again, you can read more about this because these are very recent stories also. Sometimes foreign aid and grants are used by countries to advance their strategic interests. For example, China donates. Some people believe that that donation means something. Okay, maybe it's used to advance strategic interest. Maybe there is a condition behind it. So if you remember, during the time of the former President Duterte, there were many projects funded by China. And what did many Filipinos say about it? Okay, they believe that this was payment for the Philippines. Of course, these are comments coming from people who were against the government during that time. But of course, we do not know. Maybe there's reality into that. Maybe it is true that when China gives something for the construction of a bridge, maybe there is something in return. We do not know. But that's an example of geopolitical influence.